please let me know if we are on the same page with this one, right? I don't like how like kids' intelligence is underestimated, especially around money. Like parents will always say, no, they must first grow up, or no, they must first hit their teens, then we'll have an account, and then I'll introduce them to like inyemisamoko so much. People really actually believe that money corrupts the mind, especially of a young person. And I'm really not sure. I need to start being intentional about these conversations and try to understand where people are coming from, because I mean, we've all been children, and we all know that even at 7, you are able to start reading the room. You are able to even scale yourself and your family financially amongst your peers. You start having questions about how come my mom is not driving me home, driving me to school, or coming to pick me up from school, and this one gets that. How come on Civis Day these people are dressing this way, and these other people or myself, I'm dressed differently? You start realizing what you lack and what you have. You start realizing your privileges and what you don't have, what you lack, what you're disadvantaged at. Things like toys. I know we always joke about, well, guys always joke about how the guy whose ball you're playing with that day, they get to make the rules, they get to pick their team first, everyone wants to be in their team. Kids will make bet amongst themselves and bet money. Maybe they don't have a conceptual difference of 1,000,000 rands and 1,000 rands, but if that's where their mind is, then that's where they should be playing at. They should be focusing on the cents, on the rands, and on the 100 rands. Maybe kids already know that when they go to a shop, I mean, things like when you cannot afford something for them and they really want this thing, it sticks with them and they think about it for long. They're like, I can't believe my mom can't buy me that specific thing that I wanted. How much did she say it was? Oh, 500. Damn it. Why doesn't she have 500? Things like when your kid sees money there and they ask for some money and like, I don't have. I know a lot of us has went through this as kids, and we started asking questions. So the student is ready, but the teacher is not showing up, which is the parent, and they're saying, no, you're still too young to understand. Guys, kids do understand money, and they understand money according to what they have made sense of it. um, I mean, they interact with money every day. You give them pocket money, they go to the tuck shop at school, they go buy whatever snacks at the shop, you go with them shopping, you go with them to the ATM. They have an understanding of the substance of money and what makes money important in the home, in their lives. They do know. They really do know. This is why, yeah, I saw a poster recently that said these are some of the things that needs to be taught in school. And they speak about taxes, and they speak about oh snap, I'm forgetting a lot of them. Things like planting your own food, things like self-defense. What else? What else is there? It's a lot of things, maybe 10 things. Things like basic mechanics. Cannot be this irresponsible with information in our age. You understand that the school is not teaching kids things that are practical in their lives. You know that there are platforms that you can access online. You can even draft your own semi curriculum. But if you're not going to make a difference in your child's life, in your niece's life, in your nephew's life, you then what are you talking about? Then what are you talking about? You're still saying no, the school must. The school must. It's like that whole women getting raped thing and not wanting to put themselves in less positions that are riskier or that opens them up to rape, and saying no, but men should know that they shouldn't rape. Men should be able to contain their sexual urges and whatnot. It's the same argument. Do not expect from the next person. Fix yourself. Position yourself right. And there's a lot of people, mothers and parents, men generally, parents who are homeschooling their children without even having to unplug them from like mainstream school. But they're like, I understand the needs, that I understand my children's needs. I understand the type of information they need to be more responsible, more aware of the world, be more smarter, be more functional, be more independent. And I will do that parallel to what they're doing at school. So you can go do your school thing, come back home, we do the homework, but I will take you shopping and I will help you how to budget. I will give you money, or I will make you earn money in the house. Like I said, adult life, it's still very much play. It's still very much experimenting. It's still very much learning new things about the world that you find yourself in. It's still very much about wondering about other people and how they live their lives. It's still very much about comparing yourself to other people, and not from a toxic way, from just observation of saying, I have a life, this person has a life, they're living differently, I'm living differently. What's the difference? Is there anything from them that I'd like to adopt? Is there something important that I think they need to learn from me? It's still very much trying to figure a lot of things out. And I really believe that there are alternative homeschooling education, homeschooling communities where parents are saying, I would like to give my children a leg up. We speak a lot about how a lot of black people do not inherit much, but that's because we also underestimate what we can already inherit. Things like information, you know things like your build, your physiological makeup. It's inheritance, and it's something you can work on. There are people who are born with weak livers, weak lungs, weak hearts, weak minds, weak skin, weak they're sensitive to everything. And some maybe don't have limbs, some they have weak limbs. So if you are not aware, and this speaks to gratitude, if you are not aware of your own privileges, of which you do have privileges and you do have inheritance, trust me, you didn't bring yourself to the world. You are a combination of others. If you are not able to take note of all of those things and find a way to enhance them, especially knowledge, especially information, where we speak about the previous generation didn't document, they didn't teach us a lot of things. We had to figure it out on your own. There's a lot more to figure out. But with everything that you have figured out and everything that makes sense, you have the responsibility as well of making sure that you make it easier for the next generation. You can't. There are popular stories like that of Nhlanhla Lux, where you come from barely anything, but your parents make certain decisions to help you level up, especially on the education part, where he speaks about his mother making means, and links to afford him to go to some of the best schools in the country, even when she herself didn't have much and couldn't really, really afford it sustainably. It's some of those things. Make the difference that you can with what you have and what you have inherited. Inheritance always starts from something, from somewhere, from someone. Sometimes it takes that one person to say, I value this particular thing and I believe it will make a huge, huge difference and it will give the next generation an advantage. Some of those things is literally the management of money, our relationship with money. We know that a lot of black kids didn't grow up with financial education, and we see that in the financial decisions that we are making now. Like social media, guys, like people will tell you the stories about how they made the wrong financial um, arrangements with institutions, losing your liabilities, let's say losing your cars and your homes. It's painful experiences, and to some it's deep, deep trauma. Their encounters with like things like insurance, like it's a lot. It's a lot that we need to cover up, and it's a lot that we need to make sense of. One of the things that I enjoy watching as well is like young entrepreneurs. A young entrepreneur who buys their first car before they even matriculate. Someone who wakes up and call people and arrange meetings, and by the time they're done with school, bruv, They almost set conceptually, especially in the financial and economic world. They are already plugged in, instead of someone who's gonna wait another 6 8 years before they dip their toes in the economy. So yeah, man, kids and money. And it's not just about money. It's a lot of things. When you look at, I've made a video on games. When you look at games, strategy, logic, reasoning, all of these things, it's to help the engine that runs, so that they make better decisions as they go, so that they become independent as soon as possible. Um, a lot of adults are not as independent as we'd like to think. They can't think clearly for themselves. They can't get themselves out of depression. They can't get themselves out of financial mess. They can't fix their income, to match a comfortable life. Things like investments for children, educational plans, etc., etc. We are barely independent, even as young adults, and proper adults. So there'll always be a lot of work, and I do say still that life is a long list of a to-do list. A to-do It's a long to-do list, and anything that you do not do stays undone until such a time where you attend to that thing. If you don't fix your financial education, you will hit 60. You will hit 60 living in a financial mess till you decide to make that decision to fix it. So why do we think if we do that with kids, we are corrupting them? No, we're not. No, we are not. I mean, we're still struggling to normalize the conversations of money and income, and these things still being secrets, and having a lot of trust issues, and it's a lot. Hey, it's a lot, but yeah, it's pretty wild that we really think that kids are too young to learn about money, or to learn the principles of money. Things like insurance. Have a little thing going on at home, and it doesn't matter how much you have. Just know that this kid is interacting and engaging with money on a daily. They do exist in the money world, and for you to not give them the principles and the knowledge, you are just holding them back, and they will figure it out, but at their own pace, in their own ways. And so yeah, it's just an unnecessary delay to me. And not to say money is the most important thing, which it is, but there are a lot of things around um, learning, generally learning, because even as adults, there's still a lot of things that we need to figure out. But my whole point is teach as you learn.